Hey everybody, it's JJ Talks, and it's Thursday on the Breakfast Club. It's actually my second time trying to film this video because I'm at work, and we're closed right now, but someone came up to the door, and I helped them because I am so nice. So I wanted to make this video right now because I have an event tonight, and I don't want it to be up super late. But the first thing that I want to talk about is the reactions, I guess, that people had to my topic, and the refusal to participate in the topic, and I guess... You know, I'm not angry, and I don't want to, incite drama. That's definitely not my intention. But I felt a little, disappointed, and even some ways a little personally insulted by some of the comments that my fellow Breakfast Clubbers made. And Paul suggested that maybe I was trolling the Breakfast Club, and I was not, actually. I really, when I made the video about incest several months ago when I was first on the Breakfast Club, and I really wanted to do this thing where we all confronted some gut visceral reaction that we have to a topic and see if we could step out of this sociocultural indoctrination, I guess, or whatever, and try to be objective about things. And I just want to see how far people could be pushed or could push themselves. And that was kind of my goal with this, and it wasn't to be a troll. And I guess I felt like it was frustrating that I had several people say to me that my topic was not worth talking about, especially since I've participated in topics that I'm not necessarily interested in on the Breakfast Club, because that's what we do when we do round robins. The suggestion that maybe Serious Mind didn't make a video because of potential clients seeing it, I understand that. No one has to make a video that they don't want to make or think might represent themselves badly. I respect that completely. When I first made that incest video, since I keep referring back to this, it was sent to my family, and everyone was like, your daughter is trying to have an incest relationship with her siblings. And I'm like, wow, that's definitely not what I said. But I get that. But the comments that it's not particularly interesting, or this is not worth talking about, just felt a little bit unnecessary. But again, not mad, just wanted to express my feelings on that because I feel like I can't honestly and authentically continue this video if I don't. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was Agent of Doubt's differentiation of someone with necrophilia, someone who's attracted to dead bodies, and someone who actually does the act of fucking dead bodies. Because I absolutely should have addressed this in the first video that I made, because you can't lump those two things together. Again, he gave the examples that someone with pedophilia might not necessarily act on it, and so I think those two things should be differentiated. I kind of wanted to talk about both. But more so the physical act of doing it and what that could mean and represent. And Agent of Doubt, I believe, was the one that talked about we have this cultural expectations of how to treat the dead and treating the dead with respect. And Charming Man brought up a level of respect for the dead. It's something that I found especially not interesting. I mean interesting, but that's not the right word. Something compelling, I guess, that Agent of Doubt brought up was the, don't speak ill of the dead thing, which I think is bullshit because, just because someone has died doesn't mean all of a sudden their whole life changed and they were a fantastic person, right? But as a culture, we do have certain expectations for how we treat the dead. And, I felt like pretty much everyone came to the conclusion that it's fucked up and not cool, but there's not necessarily a moral wrongdoing because that's not a living person. And I am not sure if I can get on board with that, and Charming Man talked about there's no lack of consent there, right? It's not rape because they're a dead person, and you're absolutely right. That's completely different. But going back to what I said in my original video, the idea of bodily autonomy, right? We have this thing where you can't even take organs from a dead person if they don't get their permission. So why in the hell would we let someone fuck a dead body without that person's permission? And I wish I had, I'm sorry, I did not write down who said what, but either Paul or Agent of Doubt mentioned that, like, you know, if someone said during their lifetime they signed a consent form that said, I literally don't care what happens to my body after I die, then that would be fine. But I still feel like there's some moral wrongness with it. Someone else commented on one of my videos, or one of our videos, I think it was mine, and brought up the idea that, you know, hey, we're animals, and therefore, as animals, we are naturally repulsed to having sex with dead people, and it's wrong. And I don't necessarily agree with the nature logic. It's logical fallacy. I don't remember what it's called, but I responded, well, animals rape each other. Does that mean it's okay for us to rape each other? I can't get on board with it. I can understand that people have necrophilia. They just do. Same way that people have pedophilia. And I don't necessarily think that that is a choice. In many cases. And so in that respect, I can be like, fine, yeah, that's just how life works, sorry about it. But when it comes to the act of doing it, I just feel like you can't do that. I feel like it's denigrating somebody, and like it's a dignity issue. Like I said in the first video, and Charming Man mentioned, you know, would it be better for rapists to have sex with dead bodies? Here, buddy, if you need to, like, and like, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, I'd much rather a rapist fuck a dead body than rape somebody. But I don't see that as realistic, I guess, because rapists are not raping for sex. Like, they might have a heightened sexual response to raping somebody, but it's not the sex that is getting them off. It's the, like, humiliating and controlling and dominating another human being is what's getting them off. And so if they're having sex with a dead body, they're not really getting that out of it. So I don't think that would necessarily alleviate that issue. But like he said, you know, people are dropping like flies, and if you can't get a date, why not?